Today's a WRAL weather alert day. It is chilly and it is wet. I'll show you where we could eventually see some more wintry precipitation.
And our team coverage of the WRAL weather alert day includes a look at road conditions. We will show you some areas that could be tricky for you.
And about face, the cost associated with reverting from Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg.
That cold rain will continue to spread across our area this afternoon and into tonight. Our northern counties could see a wintry mix this evening. Good afternoon to you on your Tuesday. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. You're in the right place for coverage of our severe weather. Carly Haynes is in the WRAL Storm Tracker with a look at the roads to our north.
We do want to begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner right now over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how long this rain will keep falling in our area.
We'll start with dual Doppler 5000 radar. And right now we're looking at rain mainly along and east of the I-95 corridor. We had this band of rain move through the triangle just about an hour or so ago. We take a look to the north and we don't have any precipitation falling there right now, but temperatures are still hovering near freezing. And as more of this rain develops overnight tonight, we may see some wintry mix, especially potential for some freezing rain near our northern counties. We had a little light dusting of snow up there around South Hill and in Mecklenburg County. A little shower between Clayton and Zebulon, Wilson, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, Smithfield, down toward Benson and Fayetteville, dealing with a little bit of patchy rain. So we do have our storm tracker out in the field there in Cary. Carly Haynes is there with a look at what you're seeing. What's happening out there?
Well, we are heading towards Durham, where we are seeing more of those patches of rain. But right now we're seeing some light rain hitting our windshield, some wet roads out there. It's chilly, but as you said, not seeing much in terms of that wintry precipitation where we are. A lot more this east of the triangle, this kind of rain. There have been more of those patches of sleet and freezing rain north of 85 with the highest impacts in Virginia. Take a look. This is video our crew got in the storm tracker near the Virginia border this morning. Snow actually sticking to the road there and on the roofs of houses. Counties north of 85, they're in a winter weather advisory with parts of Virginia under a winter storm warning. But we are going to be looking out on the roads for this rain that is expected to continue throughout the evening.
Thanks, Carly. Things looking pretty good where you are right now. We check out Futurecast, and we will see the rain continuing to fill in. We have some scattered showers in our eastern counties right now, but as we get through the afternoon, we'll see more and more of that rain building. Notice also, we're going to see that freezing line dropping a little farther to the south as we get into the evening. Look at that at 5 o'clock. We may be back to some snow in South Hill and a little wintry mix in Roxborough. Much of that wintry mix this afternoon and evening is likely to be more of the freezing rain type. There may be some sleet there, but more warm air over our heads could lead us more to the freezing rain. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect for our northern counties, and in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, it is a winter storm warning. Here in downtown Raleigh, it is messy, it is chilly, and it's breezy. It is a raw day out there, 39 degrees. Our wind is coming out of the east at 15, and we're seeing gusts a little higher than that. So it feels like 31 in Raleigh and Durham, 29 in Roxborough and Southern Pines, and 32 in Fayetteville. And our temperatures are just going to hover in the upper 30s for the rest of the day. More rain tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk more about a WRAL weather alert day for Wednesday coming up.
And just be sure you have the WRAL News app with notifications turned on, and we'll alert you to changing weather conditions and traffic issues we find across the viewing area.
A familiar name with a different meaning. Fort Liberty is officially being switched back to Fort Bragg, but the namesake is for a World War II veteran now. WRAL Sean Gallagher is live in Fayetteville. And Sean, you are the first person to talk to Roland Bragg's family about the name change. What did he say?
Yeah, well, I actually broke the news to them. They told me that they received a call last night from an Army lieutenant colonel, but they missed that call and never actually got the news that they were changing this name over. But now, when Liberty changes back over to Bragg, they know it'll be for him. Now, this name change comes less than 2 years from when the government changed it to Fort Liberty. That change initiated during the Biden administration because of the history behind the original Fort Bragg namesake, Braxton Bragg, a Confederate general. Now, the name will be changed back, but for a different Bragg. Roland Bragg was a private who was stationed here at Fort Bragg, fought in World War II, and was awarded a Silver Star and 2 Purple Hearts. But when he got back from war, his family said he didn't talk much about it, leading a modest life in Maine and helping the community there thrive. He died about 25 years ago, but we asked how they think he'd feel today, knowing the largest Army base in the world now bears his name.
Yeah, amazed.
He'd be amazed. I think he'd be rather humble about it. I don't think he'd expect any.
He wouldn't expect any
special attention. No, he wouldn't be the type of fellow who would expect that. He would just be very surprised about it.
And this is far from the only signage that'll need to be changed down here in Fayetteville. When they changed the name over to Liberty just over a year and a half ago, it cost about $6.4 million. I spoke with the mayor down here just over an hour ago about what he thinks it'll cost for the name to change back. He wasn't 100% certain, but believes it should cost about the same. And we'll have more on that this evening. In Fayetteville, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
We're following some breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center. Former Trump strategist and conservative strategist Steve Bannon pleads guilty in court today to that border wall fraud case. Back in 2022, Bannon was indicted for defrauding donors in an online scheme called We Build the Wall that solicited donations on the premise of building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, he will not serve any time in prison, nor will he be required to pay any restitution under the deal, because prosecutors say many of his co-defendants already returned millions of dollars to donors. Look for additional reporting on this story online on WRAL News Plus and, of course, in our news starting at 4 on WRAL.
All right, thank you, Ken. The Trump administration has ordered all charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams be dismissed, but he's not completely out of hot water. The request to dismiss charges without prejudice will be filed in court where the charges were brought. That means they could be refiled in the future. Adams has pleaded not guilty. A senior DOJ official says that the charges will be reviewed when a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney is confirmed. And Trump also pardoned former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. He served 8 years of a 14-year sentence on corruption charges surrounding his time in office. Blagojevich was convicted of selling an appointment to fill the vacant Senate seat left by then-President Barack Obama. Trump commuted Blagojevich's sentence during his first term.
The U.S. Central Bank is in no rush to slash interest rates anytime soon. That is the word from the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell. Fed Chair testified this morning on Capitol Hill as part of his semi-annual policy report. In less than a month, President Donald Trump has rolled out numerous policies that could affect consumer prices, the labor market, economic growth, and global stability. Now take a look at stocks this noon, see what the Dow Jones Industrial Average stands. It was relatively unchanged for the day. It's been up, it's been down. It's up about 20 points right now. The NASDAQ is down about 100 points right now. S&P 500 up marginally.
And state lawmakers are meeting in Raleigh this afternoon to discuss more relief funding for victims of Hurricane Helene. The storm caused almost $60 billion worth of damage in western North Carolina. And WRAL state government reporter Paul Spey tells us what the money in this new bill could go to help the region recover.
Republican House members say they want to spend a total of $500 million in this next Helene relief bill. Now, they haven't said what the details are in this bill. They're going to hash out some of those in today's 2 p.m. meeting. But we do know some of their priorities. House members say they want to spend about $300 million rebuilding homes and helping farmers repair their land. Lawmakers want to spend another $100 million rebuilding private roads and bridges that don't qualify for federal help. They also want to boost tourism and help small businesses, but they haven't revealed what that plan might look like. Lawmakers say those details will come out as soon as this afternoon. Paul Spey, WRAL News.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. Happening now, the Department of Homeland Security reporting 4 FEMA employees have been fired. Here's why. Apparently, $59 million were given to New York City to house and care for New York migrants over the last several months. The firings include FEMA's chief financial officer, 2 program analysts, and a grant specialist. Now, under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists, this is according to the Trump administration, to undermine the will and safety of the American people. This is a statement from the Department of Homeland Security, and of course that was Secretary Noem speaking about that. The massive payment was blasted by Elon Musk, whose new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, highlighted the transaction on Monday. This is just coming out, and of course we'll have more on this in WRAL News Plus, online, and in our news starting at 4.
And covering Wake County today, a new tool to help your kids stay safe in school is under review. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us the new Panic Button app is launching in less than a week.
School board members will meet here in the next few hours to talk about implementing the next steps to put the Rave Panic Button app in schools district-wide. Now, this is what that app looks like, and you can see here that there are different options for what type of emergency to select, like an active assailant or a fire. It's designed to help teachers notify 911, first responders, and administration during an emergency. More than 130 Wake County schools could be using the app by next week. Teachers in about 24 schools already have it as a part of a pilot program. Wake school leaders originally hoped to use the app district-wide at the start of the school year, but a software glitch pushed back that rollout. Janae Powell works at a charter school in a neighboring county. She says Wake County's experience with the app could help other districts decide whether to use it themselves.
All of the things that we have going on, whether that be politically or just like not having access to a school nurse like our school, I think this could be a helpful thing once, all of the kinks are worked out.
The district-wide rollout is scheduled to begin next Monday. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
Next at noon, another plane crash investigation, a key issue in what may have caused this small plane crash in Arizona that killed a person.
Also, record ratings, the number of people who watched the Super Bowl on Fox 50.
Plus, flu numbers are at a 15-year high. The wave of flu infections spreading nationwide.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
The NTSB is investigating another deadly crash just weeks after a string of catastrophic aviation incidents. This one involved 2 private jets in Scottsdale, Arizona.
One person died in this wreck. 4 others were injured. NBC's Dana Griffin shares one of the issues that could be central to the investigation.
Surveillance video capturing a runway disaster in real time as a Learjet heading from Austin, Texas, landing at Scottsdale Municipal Airport, veers off the runway, crashing into a larger Gulfstream business jet parked nearby.
Expect to go around. We just had an emergency.
The National Transportation Safety Board already investigating.
It appears that the left main gear failed upon landing, resulting in the accident.
A large piece of that landing gear can be seen lying on the runway. Authorities say 5 people were involved in the crash. 1 person died. Representatives for Motley Crue frontman Vince Neil say the private jet belonged to the singer, but he was not on board. The band sharing on social media there were 2 pilots and 2 passengers on the plane. And in a now deleted post, that Neil's girlfriend and a friend both suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were taken to local hospitals. Poison frontman Bret Michaels, who has toured with Motley Crue, posting that his thoughts and prayers go to Neil's girlfriend Rain and all those injured, adding, "I was relieved to hear that my friend Vince Neil was not on board." The accident comes amid a string of unrelated aviation incidents in recent weeks. 67 people died in Washington, D.C. when an Army helicopter slammed into an American Airlines regional jet. A medevac jet crashed in Northeast Philadelphia, killing 7. And 10 people were killed this past Friday in a commuter plane crash in icy, snowy conditions on approach to Nome, Alaska. Aviation experts say flying in the U.S. is still extremely safe and that these devastating accidents should not be cause for panic.
It's a combination of a coincidental rash of accidents coupled with a huge heightened sense of sensitivity on the public.
That was Dana Griffin reporting. And about that Scottsdale incident, it's not clear if the Learjet's left main landing gear you saw on the tarmac there was damaged on impact or if there was an issue before it landed.
And police in Detroit are investigating the death of 2 small children who froze to death inside a van. The family had been living inside the van. They arrived at the parking garage of a casino around 1 a.m. on Monday. At some point, the vehicle ran out of gas. The mother called a family member around noon when she realized one child was not breathing. When that family member arrived, they realized the second child was also not breathing. No word on charges at this time.
2 women are recovering after being attacked by a shark in the Bahamas. It happened Friday in the waters of Bimini Bay. Police said the women were on a friend's boat and decided to jump into the water, and that's when one felt a nudge and then razor-sharp teeth. Her friend was also bitten. Both were airlifted to a hospital where they are receiving treatment.
They yelled to me that the top of my foot was shredded, and I just hadn't realized until I looked down. I just put my head in my hands and started praying that God wouldn't take my life and I would live. Yeah, it was very scary.
Both of those young women are staying positive, helped by a shark-themed gift basket from loved ones. Friday's incident is the third reported shark attack involving American tourists in the Bahamas since 2023.
Glad they're okay. Well, Hawaii is known as the rainbow capital of the world, and that's because regular sunshine, short rain showers, and clean air create those bright colors that stretch across the sky. The current winter rainy season increases the chances of seeing a rainbow on one of the islands, and right now, rainbows are plentiful on the islands, but climate change could impact that.
If climate change means we see fewer rainbows, I think all that will mean is that people will appreciate them more when they do see them.
And scientists and locals are educating the public on the history behind rainbows and their representation in Hawaiian culture. According to Native Hawaiian tradition, the closer a person is to a rainbow, the more likely they are to encounter a powerful force.
The second year in a row, the Super Bowl brought in record ratings, and Fox is celebrating. Sunday's game averaged 126 million viewers across all platforms, including broadcast TV, streaming devices, and apps. The game peaked in the second quarter, right between 8 and 8:15 in the evening, when it was still a game. 137 million people tuned in at that point. That was the heavy point, and NBC and Peacock will be airing next year's Super Bowl 2 days after the Winter Olympics begin on the same network. So we're going to be quite busy right around those times.
Yeah.
Usually you get that peak viewing in the third quarter, maybe it hangs on till the fourth quarter.
Right, because people are like, oh, this is a game.
It was not a game. Second quarter, and it was over. It was over.
Yeah, it was. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a WRAL weather alert day. Waves of rain today.
Yeah, we're looking at the first half today and the second half for tomorrow. Both halves feature rain. This morning we had some wintry precipitation, especially up into Virginia, Mecklenburg County. A nice little coating of snow that happened there. Elsewhere, it was mainly just rain. For tomorrow, it will be mostly rain, and we're looking at just a small potential for some flooding as we see today's rain matched with tomorrow's rain as well. Here's a look at Lake Gaston. David Mikulski sent us this, and you can see this light dusting of snow there at Lake Gaston. You can see some of that there on the boathouse. We have, of course, our live look at Lake Gaston, and it had a little frosting on some of the docks and the boathouses, but it is all melted now. It was certainly quick. We'd love to see your photos. Go to WRAL.com/report it and send us some pictures of this, kind of unpleasant weather that we're going to see the next couple of days. We have some scattered showers really along the I-95 corridor. A little bit of that light rain trying to pop up also up the I-85 corridor just north of the Triangle area. We'll zoom in down to the south where it's been a little more steady from Fayetteville to Dunn to Clinton to Goldsboro to Smithfield and then up through Wilson and Rocky Mount as well. We'll zoom in and you can see we have our storm tracker out in the field headed up by 85 and then back toward the Triangle area looking for any issues out there on the roads. We take a look at Futurecast, and as we get through the day today, just in the next few hours, we'll start to see that rain really picking up in coverage and in intensity. This is 5 o'clock. It is going to be a wet commute for us. We start to watch that freezing line dipping a little farther south starting at about 5 o'clock. We'll pause it again at 7. What we'll likely see instead of very much snow is a better chance for some sleet or even some freezing rain this evening. The amounts will be fairly light and really all right up near the Virginia line. I think from Durham and Lewisburg, Rocky Mount southward, we shouldn't see anything. And the amount of freezing rain that we'll see in our northern counties will be very light. So it is a WRAL weather alert day again for tomorrow. We'll continue with that rain all night long. So by the time we get to tomorrow, we'll be looking at just a small flooding threat. Our temperatures will still be below normal. We're looking at upper 30s to around 40 for the temperature through the day, and the rain will be with us on and off. It starts to taper off a little bit later in the day. Clinton's seeing some pretty steady rain right now and some chilly temperatures, just 39 in the Triangle right now. We're looking at those cool temperatures everywhere. Clinton's sitting at 37, but feeling feeling like 33. It is a raw day out there. It feels like 28 in Southern Pines and Roxborough. Feels like 30 degrees in Rocky Mount. Now we're just going to hold it right here in the upper 30s to low 40s for the rest of the day, and then we'll repeat that for tomorrow. We do keep it above freezing tonight. We get close to freezing, 33 in Roxborough. That's why we're looking at the chance of maybe a little bit of freezing rain there. But elsewhere, we're in the mid to upper 30s, just feeling unpleasant. And again, as we get through Wednesday, we'll be watching for that small threat for flooding. Look what happens next. We go from 40s to 67 on Thursday and a chance of thunderstorms. A little quieter for Friday. We should see some sunshine for Valentine's Day. I'll show you how much rain will add up over the next 3 days coming up.
A nice Friday. Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, it's coming up, sorority students targeted. Dozens of NC State women say their photos were found online without consent. Tonight on WRAL News at 4, search warrants reveal how artificial intelligence was used to alter the images and what they depicted.
Plus, Lenovo Center concerns the local school opposing redevelopment plans over safety risks. Tonight on WRAL News at 5, why the school's president says hundreds of teens will be in danger if that plan moves forward. Plus, still ahead this noon, ripping and running between school, sports, and other activities. You know, kids are always on the go. How parents say you prevent hurried child syndrome.
Plus, ban on hold, why a proposal to keep life-threatening chemicals out of hair and makeup is delayed.
Right now, this is a live look. Gray skies, legislative building in Raleigh down below as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. A winter storm is hitting areas just to our north, but there are some factors that limit its potential here.
Yeah, meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us why this storm is mostly a swing and a miss in central North Carolina.
All right, so now that the Super Bowl is over, we're going with baseball metaphors. Yeah, so this system, for the most part, is a swing and a miss with regards to winter weather. And a lot of that actually has to do with how warm we've been recently. Over the past 2 weeks, we haven't seen a freeze at RDU. The average low has been 42 degrees. The average high has been in the 60s. So even for those parts of the area that do see wintry weather, it's not really sticking to the main roads. In fact, when you look at the winter weather impact, you really have to go north of I-85. And even that in North Carolina is limited. Most of the minor or even moderate or even major winter impacts are going to be up toward Virginia. One thing to keep an eye on, Person, Granville, Vance, Warren counties especially, is that you may see a few isolated slick spots on bridges as the cold air is able to flow underneath and above it a little more freely. That would be the case heading through tomorrow morning. But all things considered, just mainly cold rain throughout much of North Carolina.
And it is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have you covered how long we can expect the messy weather to linger.
Surging flu cases. Doctors say they are seeing a 15-year high, and the season isn't over. Here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
A cold rain will continue to spread across our area this afternoon and tonight. Northern counties could see that wintry mix tonight.
You're in the right place for coverage of our severe weather happening right now. Carly Haynes is in the WRAL Storm Tracker with a look at the roads to our north.
But we begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how long the rain will keep falling. Elizabeth.
Ooh, we have a long way to go. I'll tell you that. We have rain that's going to continue to develop through the afternoon, be with us overnight tonight and for most of the day tomorrow, another round Thursday, and then more over the weekend. We need rain, but you know, sometimes you have to watch what you wish for. Along and east of I-95 is where the bulk of the rain is happening right now, but we're starting to see it redeveloping south and east of I-85 too, from just north of Raleigh back down through the Sandhills. Notice to the north, we're not seeing any wintry precipitation, but as we see more of this rain developing, we'll see temperatures dropping enough overnight tonight that there could be just a light glazing in our northern counties and then up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. More likely to be freezing rain or even a little bit of sleet this evening. We do have some showers in Smithfield, Goldsboro, Wilson, Rocky Mount. But again, as I mentioned, we're starting to see that developing a little bit more here in the Triangle area as well. Down here on I-40 is where Carly Haynes is. You can see where the storm tracker is right now. Carly, how's it looking out there on the roads?
We are heading east following that light rain that's leaving Wake County, and it is quiet rain, meaning that we are not hearing that loud sleet, that wintry precipitation. So we're just seeing some light rain right now, but we have seen more of those patches of sleet and freezing rain north of 85 with the highest impacts in Virginia. Take a look at our crew this morning was in the WRAL storm tracker near the Virginia border. They saw snow actually sticking to the road and on the roofs of houses. So looks a lot different where we are right now. We are back out here expecting more waves of rain as people are heading back from work in the afternoon. Elizabeth.
Nice to have a little bit of a break out there on the roads right now because it looks like it's going to be really messy for us for the evening commute. We start here with Futurecast right now and then watch how that rain really fills in as we get closer to, say, 5 o'clock. We'll pause it right there at around 4 or 5 o'clock. Lots of rain, especially from, say, Lillington and Smithfield northward. As we get into the 5 o'clock hour, we'll also start to see that freezing line dropping a little farther to the south. Might be a little bit more snow around South Hill, but it's more likely to be sleet this time around and maybe a little light glazing of freezing rain. And that may continue overnight, at least up near the Virginia line. So that's why the winter weather advisory continues all the way until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Also, because we'll have more rain tomorrow, heavy at times, tomorrow is also a WRAL weather alert day for the potential for some flooding. This is a look at Franklinton, where the rain is coming down with the chilly temperatures. This is just the way things are going to look for us all the way through the afternoon and evening. 39 officially in the Triangle, and it's breezy out there too. An east wind at 15 just makes it feel even colder. Our temperatures will hold in the upper 30s for the rest of the day, but the wind chill is closer to freezing right now. We'll talk more about how much rain we'll actually see over the next 4 or 5 days coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. A second wave of flu infections is surging nationwide.
That's a dangerous strain. It is spreading quite rapidly, especially among kids. Doctor visits for the virus have hit now a 15-year high. NBC's Maggie Vespa reports from Chicago.
This morning, a late-breaking wave of influenza is spiking coast to coast, with doctor visits for the flu nationwide hitting a 15-year high.
It seems like everybody has the flu. It's because they do.
ER doctors at Chicago's Cook County General say the combination of an unusually nasty flu strain and falling vaccination rates is driving the spread.
We've seen a lot of sick people in general. Compared to previous years, seems like they're having more respiratory issues.
According to the CDC, at least 44 states and Washington, D.C. are reporting high or very high levels of influenza-like illnesses. In the Dallas metro area, positive flu tests jumped 30% in 1 week. The virus spreading easily in closed environments like offices and classrooms. Cases soaring among children.
When kids truly are sick, they just have that look in their eyes, and there's no arguing that.
In Nebraska, Sarah Christensen's 10-year-old daughter, Aubrey, came down with the virus.
And ended up taking into the pediatrician, and we did the slew of tests, and influenza B unfortunately came back positive.
The surge even leading to shortages at pharmacies.
We're having a hard time keeping in a lot of our over-the-counters. The flu numbers are so high that it's really hard to even keep the supply up for people who are being tested positive for it.
The CDC estimates there have been at least 24 million flu cases so far this year, with 310,000 hospitalizations and 13,000 deaths, including 57 children. Experts fear by the season's end, the overall death toll could hit 30,000. They say it's not too late to get a flu shot. They're effective within a week and crucial in protecting you and your loved ones.
That was Maggie Vespa reporting, and tomorrow we expect our State Department of Health and Human Services to release the weekly update on our cases. Last week there was an increase in flu activity and flu-related deaths, bringing our state number now to 117.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, that 10-year ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas even more precarious this noon hour, because just in the last 5 minutes, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu threatening to withdraw from that ceasefire agreement and resume fighting in Gaza if Hamas does not free hostages by Saturday. Hamas has said it will delay releasing the hostages Saturday because Israel, according to Hamas, has not been allowing aid to get into Gaza. As you can see here, this this video of Hamas coming through. Well, President Trump also weighing in, saying if Hamas doesn't release the hostages by noon on Saturday, that ceasefire agreement should be scrapped. We will keep monitoring this story and stay on top of it here in the WRAL Live Center.
Thanks, Ken. A popular diss track could help save your life. We'll tell you which song off Kendrick Lamar's album could be life-saving.
And a ban proposed by the FDA could be delayed. We'll tell you why banning formaldehyde in hair straighteners could be in jeopardy. For news, traffic, and weather of the day, be sure you download the WRAL News app. The FAA is reversing the Biden-era name for the safety messages pilots are required to read before flying. The messages are known as NOTAMs. The FAA signed an order stating the acronym will once again be known as Notice to Airmen. In 2021, it was changed to Notice to Air Mission to be more inclusive of all pilots. The alerts include information about potential hazards to a pilot, such as runway and taxiway closures. Consumer advocates and ethics experts say Elon Musk is in the center of a glaring conflict of interest. Days after President Donald Trump's inauguration, X announced the launch of a digital wallet and peer-to-peer payments platform in partnership with Visa. Musk is also leading the effort to gut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which oversees the payments business. Essentially, the world's richest person would benefit from weakened financial regulation.
A new rule banning formaldehyde in hair straighteners could be in jeopardy. Formaldehyde is known as a carcinogen. The chemical is most commonly included in hair products marketed to Black women for straightening. The Trump administration has issued a freeze on all new rules that have not been sent to the Federal Register yet. That means the ban proposed by the FDA could die or be delayed. And Kendrick Lamar's song of the year just might help save lives. According to the American Heart Association, KDOT's song, Not Like Us, has the perfect tempo for hands-only CPR. The nonprofit organization recommends that people practice at home with a pillow or a mannequin to the beat of the song so they're prepared in the event of an emergency.
Avoiding hidden sugars. Why chocolates might not be the only unhealthy item for your sweetie.
Plus, packed schedules, not yours, but your kids. Why experts are warning against contributing to hurried child syndrome. We are just 3 days away from Valentine's Day, and whether you're single or in a serious relationship, it's important to show your health some love. Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look at how to have a healthier Valentine's Day this year.
From candy canes around Christmas to jelly beans and Easter eggs and boxes of chocolate for Valentine's Day, holidays and seasonal treats can go hand in hand.
Much of our culture is really kind of focused around food as part of celebrations.
While balance and moderation are key, a number of nutritional experts advise centering holidays around more than just food.
Maybe we focus a little bit more on Valentine's Day around making more memories than making more calories.
Citing how certain items can add sugar and saturated fats into our diets.
If you're going out for Valentine's Day, let's just say you get a steak and it's going to have some saturated fat, and then you're going to have maybe a cocktail, which is going to have some added sugars in it, and then you have some candy.
According to federal guidelines, saturated fats and added sugar should both make up no more than 10% of our daily calories.
On a 2,000 calorie diet, that's 200 calories from saturated fat and 200 calories from added sugars.
But about 80% of Americans aren't meeting those guidelines.
The common American diet is usually 12 to 15% of saturated fat and added sugars.
Eating greater amounts of saturated fats and added sugar can lead to increased medical risks down the line.
The consequences for saturated fat, it has a significant contribution for heart disease, and added sugars also adding to calorie intakes, which then contribute to the development of obesity and chronic diseases.
That was Gary Baumgarten reporting. Researchers say some foods may contain more of these ingredients than you realize. Checking nutrition labels can offer some clarity.
Does it seem like your child always has something going on after school? It might be time to scale back their schedule. When a child is too busy, psychologists say they're at risk of something called hurried child syndrome. That's when children have so many activities, they are rushing through their day. In some cases, parents are hurrying children to development more quickly than is appropriate for their age. And when a child is constantly on the go, they might start feeling stressed, anxious, even exhausted.
Is staying up late because they've been at practice and then they need to shower and then they need to do their homework and they're not getting enough sleep, then that could impact mood, concentration, interactions.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and social media can also play a role in causing hurried child syndrome. And doctors suggest reducing access to social media just like that. Time management, that is key theme there.
I had a lot going on with that when I was a kid. I understand that. Yeah, you're constantly on the go. You need to relax.
Yeah, something's got to give just a little bit.
Yes.
Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. She's been quite busy the last couple of days. It's likely to be busy all week, Elizabeth.
I would recommend relaxing at home for the next several days because you just don't want to be outside. It's miserable out there. The wind chill is making it feel like low 30s. We have rain starting to really build back across the triangle area now. And we'll just see this growing, this batch of rain that we have over us right now will continue to spread, and it's going to be a very messy commute for us this evening. We're looking at some steady rain from Fayetteville to Clinton to Goldsboro up toward Wilson, and then it's kind of scattered from Sanford to Raleigh on up toward the Virginia line. Let's head up to Virginia, and you can see that we do have a little bit of light patchy rain. There was some snow there. We've seen a couple of different shots of that sort of at the beginning of the newscast there around South Hill where the snow was covering the ground and there was some on the streets. That is mostly melted at this point, and what we'll likely see tonight as this rain spreads back into that area is a better chance for some freezing rain. Maybe a little bit of sleet, but it's probably going to be freezing rain. Probably not enough to cause any real issues, but there could be some glazing of ice. So watch out for bridges tonight and early tomorrow. This is a look at where Storm Tracker is right now between Auburn and Clayton, moving down Highway 70. We'll take a look at the fact that, it just did move through a nice little shower there. So you can see a little bit of rain. The windshield wipers definitely working a little bit harder. And of course, if you happen to be traveling during the evening commute anywhere across our viewing area, you are likely to run into some rain. So just keep that in mind as you're trying to time out when you might get home. Checking Fayetteville, there was some rain that just moved through there. So it is wet currently. Apex is a little bit damp. Chapel Hill, a little bit on the drier side. We, of course, have started to see a few more showers popping up here in Raleigh. And that's a look from our Jimmy V camera where, it's damp out there. It's chilly. It's really uncomfortable. From here on out, we'll watch more of the rain developing across our area. I'm going to pause it once we get to about 5 o'clock for the beginning of the evening commute. Notice at that point, we do have more of a wintry mix up to the north. And, anything could happen. We could see some snow or some sleet, but it really looks like the pattern is more favorable, again, for some freezing rain. So watch out for some bridges there, especially through the morning hours as well. We do have our winter weather advisory that is in effect all the way through tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So that should cover that potential for some slick spots tomorrow morning as well. We'll be here early on to help you walk through that. Rain chances continue tonight into Wednesday, then again on Thursday. Thursday's going to feel a bit different with a chance for some scattered thunderstorms. And then Friday looks like we may have a dry day. The weekend looks a little bit wetter. We needed the rain, certainly, but we are going to be watching out for the potential for some minor flooding for tomorrow. So it is a WRAL weather alert day. We do have that low flood threat. The temperatures will feel a lot like today, just kind of on the miserable side, upper 30s to around 40. And the rain that we see tomorrow will likely be heaviest in the morning, but it will last really on and off all day. This is a look at first thing in the morning. Again, up near the Virginia line, you can see that potential for, a few waves of some freezing rain, and then into the afternoon and evening, hopefully it will begin to taper off. We'll look at rain anywhere from 1 inch to 2.5 inches over the next several days, and we needed a good soaking, but it just comes at an uncomfortable price. 40 for this afternoon, 43 for tomorrow. We're nice and dry for Valentine's Day. But we get into the weekend and we're looking at some more wet conditions, you guys.
It continues. Thanks, Elizabeth. Building lasting love, the simple activity that can help couples feel closer.
Winning Powerball numbers 2, 17, 18, 29, 43. The Powerball is 3. The Power Play multiplier is 3. We wrap things up this noon with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. Wake County staff members will have a new digital